All right. Awesome. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, and thanks for having me. First off, I know this is kind of a hot topic, and it's definitely important to everybody in the GP community. And, being a valued partner of ours, I definitely want to make sure your clients understand, you know, kind of the background a little bit. And it looks like we have about 3 or 4 folks. Um, Typically, what I do, the way I organize this, is to make sure I answer all of the questions that you'll probably have, if not already, uh, in your mind about what is Jet Express. So once we get into the demo portion, which will be pretty quickly, feel free to ask questions as we're going. I know typically in a webinar setting that's not something that's encouraged, but it is a smaller setting today, so feel free to do that. But with that being said, I'm going to start rolling through these slides here. So the first, there we go. So up front, marketing always wants me to talk about who we are because it's important to know that, but also comparing Management Reporter to Jet Express as well as kind of how we got here. Most of the time will be demonstration, and then at the end we'll open it up for Q&A, and if there's some time, I have a couple of slides on our paid solutions that will show you what you get as you move up in the Jet Reports product offering. So who we are, 14 years now we've been around. 10,000 companies rely on our solutions from all over the world, and really this statement at the top where, unparalleled access, it's important and it's true, but what I want you to know is when you think about your data in your ERP, what we are is we just make it easy to get that data into Excel into a digestible format. So that's really what we're all about. And again, all over the world, I'm here in Portland with a full foot of snow, and the governor has declared this tough going out here state. And for us, anyways, I guess the point that I'm getting to is, we're relevant anywhere. It's important for you to know that as your business grows, as things change, or maybe you travel across the globe, we have experience everywhere and with every size company. All of our solutions are scalable. What you see here are, the bigger names of people we've worked with and continue to work with. So Jet Express all the way to Jet Enterprise, we actually have recently a potato farm with about 4 total employees who just got on Jet Reports, all the way up to, you see here, Talking Rain, which is the 3rd largest beverage provider in the U.S. behind Coke and Pepsi. So we're all over the spectrum. So as far as how we got here, I wanted to, use this cartoon to kind of illustrate really one of the big reasons that Microsoft sees Jet as the reporting tool of the future is that we're already ready for the cloud and we're already mobile. A lot of companies in the world of reporting for Microsoft have not got to that point yet, and it comes from our history of working with them. We saw where they were going, we knew what was going to happen, and our products help each other drive forward into the future. We provide feedback, we're on calls a lot with them, and really I bring this up because you, as a GP user, you've already made an investment into a Dynamics platform and will continue to do so in the future. And I just want you to know, as we move into the future, you're not going to continue to have to change your reporting solutions because, again, we've been around, we know where things are going, and we're built for the future. So Management Reporter, on the other hand, is not cloud ready and actually never will be. And the story behind that is that team moved to AX umbrella, the AX umbrella, and now all of the updates are for AX. So with that decision for Microsoft, we had a strong history with Dynamics Nav, and they saw JetExpress as really the best option for their clients, which we'll see today. So I've covered a lot of this already, but it's been around for 5 years. It's not brand new, although it is improved for GP. It is real-time reporting. It is simply an Excel added, so small footprint. The SQL security settings are what GP reads, and you can get more information on that when I show you how to download and where that information lives, as well as the intention. It is cell-by-cell level design, so basic financial statements. I'm actually going to show you kind of an advanced example, and it does read every single table, field, and view in the GP database. So from what I've seen, it's almost like a Swiss Army knife for GP folks, because you don't have to have 2 or 3 different reporting tools to get the information you need out of GP. You can get everything with just one solution. So it is designed to be self-service, so we do not provide official support for that, but I do know TMC is geared up and ready to help you if you have questions about report writing, how do I get my reports migrated, things of that nature. So we'll work with them and you to make sure that the transition, if you choose to go that route, is a good one. So as important it is to know what JetExpress is, I believe it's equally as important to know what it's not. It is not Management Reporter or FRX, and some folks that scares them, some folks that get really excited, and I'll show you kind of the flexibility differences between the two as we go on. It's not a BI or analytics tool. I would argue, even though this is the probably toughest product as far as usability goes, it's going to be by far easier than anything else out there. So as far as the one-click drill down or getting reports from the web, or budgeting and forecasting, where I have some multi-currency reports that I'd like to create, we couldn't give everything away for free. So our best stuff is going to be on our paid solutions, but it is by far the best free tool on the market. So with that being said, these are the questions that I'm going to answer during the demo portion of this webinar. So what does it do? What kind of reports can I build? What about my trees? I get that question every single time, so I have a picture on there. Is there training? If so, where do I find it? Where's the download? How do I, why, what's the use case for using it? And then what does migration look like? So how do I move from my MR or FRX tool to Jet? So I believe, yep, so that's exactly it. So I'll show some examples of what we did at Summit 2016, and these will be some Management Reporter reports at the very end, but I'll do a financial example as well as a non-financial example. So I should be able to get out of here. Perfect. So what does it do? So this is the Excel add-in. It's simply just another add-in here within Excel. And if I was to go to my settings and simulate JetExpress for GP, you'll see that some of this functionality is going to be grayed out, but you're still going to have access to the general ledger, and you're still going to have access to the table builder. So what I'm going to do is show you how to build similar to the tree concept, is breaking things out by segment. So I'll use the example of segment 1 for sample data sake, but it could be by department, by company, however your structure is, just know that even though I'm showing specific examples, we can build any kind of report. There's not a single report in FRX or Management Reporter that JET can't handle. JET Express is going to be a great place to start, but just know, you know, as far as the reports go, you're not going to be missing out on anything. So I'm going to hard code in my dates. There's definitely more than one way to add these date filter parameters. This is just one. And when I open up the GL function, really what it's doing is trying to asking a set of questions in an effort to make it very easy for the end user to understand. So from a where standpoint, what it's asking is, where do I want my information returned? So when I click this drop down, we could return it on a cell-by-cell basis. We can return it in rows, in columns, or in sheets. And in this case, I actually want my sheets broken out by segment. And I'll just pick segment 1. And what we see here, this is my first segment in my sample data, which is 000. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to list the account numbers, the name, the balance, the budget, and then we'll even sprinkle in the variance between the two for every single account within account segment, and then as you'll see, it'll break it out on new tabs at the bottom. But as we continue, for account name, again, where do I want the information returned? In this case, I want it returned in rows. What would I like to see? Well, I want a list of accounts, and then I'm just going to tell it for this segment. And we see the first account number for the 000 account segment. Same idea here. What's great about JET is it knows you've already asked for information in rows, so you don't have to tell it twice. In this case, I want the account name. For which account? Under this drop-down menu, you have a list of all of your accounts, and you actually have access to all of the standard operators or syntax that you're used to, because again, we're a Dynamics company, we're not reinventing the wheel, so if you want to do, I don't know, a range of accounts, you could do that. In this case, to make it easy, I'm simply just going to reference from the workbook over here. And now we have the name for this account. So for balance, again, I'm just going to tell JET I want the balance for which account, simply reference from the workbook. Now the difference here is I would like to see a net change over time, so I'm going to place 2 dates into my starting and ending period. Now this help tab is a great way to navigate JET Express because it truly does help. So up here it's saying, you know, start period, a date of transaction. So if I click over here, this changed. So retrieve the net change since this date for a set of accounts. Now if I code in a second date, retrieve the net change between the 2 dates. So just know it's dynamic. It's going to update for you, so you're not alone when you're out building reports. So in this case, I'm done with the balance. I'm simply going to drag this function over, change from balance to budget, and just so you know, you can actually change what company you're reporting from in this drop-down. I only have 2. Or what budget you're pulling in. So you can return more than 1 budget year in a single report. So in this case, for example's sake, I'm just going to leave it the same. And then variance is going to be a pretty simple Excel calculation. And from a JET standpoint, I'm actually done. I'm actually going to, the rest of the time, use Excel to clean this up and add some color, actually. So you'll notice as we go on, I'm kind of a neat freak and I want it to look nice. And actually the first row and column is reserved for JET functions as well. And what I'm doing here is I'm hiding the function from our end users so they just see the data, and I'm fitting, so auto-fitting these columns so when I refresh the report it doesn't cut any of these numbers off. So I'm done. Again, all I'm going to do is go to my JET ribbon and click refresh, and it's going to go into the GP database, grab the live information, and return it back in Excel in the format that I've requested. So now we see at the bottom of my worksheet we have our 000, but we also have our 100s, 200s, and so on. And you can do this with any report. Again, this is just an example to show you that there is an answer for the tree question. And again, it's just about formatting and how you would want it to look, but functionality-wise, it's here. It just looks a little bit different. So that's a really good kind of advanced financial example that you can do with Jet Express. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions about this report or what I've shown on this report? Okay, great. So what I will do now that we've shown one financial example, I want you to know that with Jet Express, you are going to get a set of sample reports giving you a taste of what Jet can do right out of the box. And again, it is free. I assure you, even though it has sample reports, the product 100% is free. This is a customer balance and credit limits report. Very useful report, especially when you add a slicer in here. For example, if I am Paul, I click on my name and I can easily see now where my focus should be, where my accounts are in the red or in the green. So really useful report. And there's really two pieces to a Jet Express non-financial report. One is the data dump over here on the right, so all the information we've asked for, and what I've done is I've summarized it with a pivot table to make it look nice. So I'm going to show you how to build this from scratch using Jet Express. Whoop. And again, this is any table, field, or view within Jet. So as I go to my table builder here, we're going to see it's nice layout, really easy to understand. Clearly we want to start with the table or view, and as I scroll through here, there's a couple of things I want you to know. One is we have added some friendly names, so you don't have to know RM00103 is your customer master summary. It's there in an easy to read and understand format. And then also, as you scroll down into the J's, you'll see Jet at the start of some of these views. And really what this is it's a custom set of SQL views that we have created to make it easier for a GP starter to get this information, because over the 14 years we've been around, we've learned these are typically the most commonly reported on tables and fields, so we've put them into a custom view. So I think, yeah, ours was built on the customer table, and immediately it's asking me, do I want to add some fields? Would I like to add some filters or another table? So in this case, I'm going to grab some of these fields. So let's grab some customer information. So we'll grab the number, the name. Let's grab the credit limit type and customer balance. And then I think we want credit limit amount too. There we go. And then we also had salesperson. So you can search up here as well. So if I type in sales, we get everything related to sales. And I'll grab the salesperson ID. And as you can see, as I was adding these fields, up at the top, it's showing me exactly what I've added in. So if I wanted to say maybe drag customer name to the front, you could. You can also change this for reporting purposes. It doesn't have to say exactly the way it's coded in GP, but it's totally flexible, easy to change and move around. And then in this case, the last thing, or the other options that I have, are to add a table or filter. So what I'll do is I'm going to add a filter for, let's do sales territory.
They're not there.
And what I'm doing by clicking this box is I'm adding an option for the end viewer in the future to change some of the options within reporting, within this particular report. So at this point I'm done for the example's sake, but you could easily add a table or field to this as well. In this case, when I click OK, it's going to ask, do you want to save your work as a template? Now, don't tell the nav users you have this, because they don't. But what this is asking is, do you want to save this footprint? Because what we found from the MVPs is that really a lot of the reports are built through views, so a view on top of a view, and it's really hard to come in and actually continue to recreate that every single time you want a new report, so you can save the footprint. I'm going to roll the dice and say that I think I got it right. And in this case, all I do is hit refresh. And this is that option I was talking about. So you could change the sales territory right here to any of the territories. I'm going to leave it as is. And here we go. We have all of the information that I've requested. And if we go back to our example, looks very similar to this. So this is our data dump. So the last piece is going to be summarizing with a pivot table. Automatically selects everything for you, and now we can just pull in the information we want. And I'm actually going to say no subtotals, and I want to see this in a tabular form, and probably put this down a little bit. Perfect. And then I'll add the salesperson in here as a slicer. Pull this up actually. And all the information's tied together for me if you've worked with pivot tables, and really outside of the conditional formatting, which is on this previous report, it's the exact same report. So really nice to be able to report on any table, field, or view within GP, and as you can see, it doesn't take a specialist to do so. So that is another example of how you can build reports out of GP. So are there any questions about the table builder or anything around what I was doing there? Okay, cool. So where do I get it? So I like what I've seen, and what I'd like to do is download the tool. So where you get it is simply jetreports.com. You just type in jetreports.com, and as you scroll down to our really nice website, some case studies are there if you'd like to take a look at that. I go to my Jet Express for Excel. I would like to follow the track for Dynamics GP, and here is where you download the tool. This is compatible all the way back to version 9, so you don't have to be on 2016 to use it. And there's some training videos right here. So basic and advanced financial reporting, basic and advanced non-financial reporting. how to install PDF and video. And this is where you'll get your sample reports. It does provide a report player, so you can scroll through them. There's 20 of them there. If you get stuck, we do have an online community for help, as well as I'm sure both myself and TMC are willing to help, but this is a community portal that's been extremely successful. As you can see, over 1,000 posts. But that's where you get the tool. This is also where you get a really great PDF on comparing our solutions. So here's Express for Excel. What do you get with Jet Professional? What about Jet Enterprise? So you'll also have access to that as well. So don't forget these are here. It's really easy to just download and then forget. But this is where you get it. So another piece that I wanted to share with you is what we did at Summit this year. So really what are the questions we get all the time is, how do you migrate reports? What does it look like? And really, using only Jet Express, we were able to convert all of these basic financial reports. So this is a P&L, year-to-date P&L, and all that we did is we copied the information and placed in Jet functions. And there is some formatting that was done, but just I wanted you to know that if you're on Management Reporter, this should look pretty familiar, and this is all Jet stuff. So you know, over here you could change what fiscal year you're pulling from, anything like that. So that's an example. So with that being said, I want to open it up for questions about Jet Express or really anything around the tool or tools itself. So I wasn't going to show necessarily anything too much more, but with it being a smaller crowd, I do want to make sure that there's an opportunity for that. So.
Hi, this is Terry from Volunteers America. Do you mind just walk through a little bit how you set up that monthly reporting? Do you have a template to pull out everything and we just change it fiscal year, or we need to build by ourselves from the scratch?
Good question. So that's probably going to be something we would work with TMC on. So you would send some of those reports to them, and then we would help with the transition process. I do know, Jim, if you want to chime in here, that's typically what we do, but either of us can help.
Right, I agree with you, Mike. One of us, Terry, will be able to help you get that done, so no worries there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and eventually, because it is a pretty easy tool to use, I'm always going to encourage trying to do some of that on your own. You obviously don't have to do all of it, but because there are some things like, for example, this, where is this? So like this report here, the feedback we got from the MVPs in doing training is really they had to change their way of thinking about reporting, because this is how it's always been, but Jet can do there's so much more flexibility. So if maybe instead of January through December, as it's always been, maybe I want to show June through January, you can have two different budget years on the same report, which historically has not been able to be done. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this too. Okay. Any other questions about Jet Express? Okay. Well, I have a couple of pretty high-level slides about the two paid solutions that we have. So I'll run through those real quick, and then if Jim wants to close it up and make sure that there's no more questions about any of the products, I think that will be, whoa, I think that will be all for today. So
Sounds good, Mike.
there we go. Jet Professional. So I'm going to highlight what you get as you move up from Jet Express. So in addition to everything Jet Express gives you, because all of our solutions build on themselves, you're also going to get the automated scheduling and distribution of reports. So whether you choose to do that from the web portal or locally on Excel is totally up to you. It does come with a web portal, so maybe I'll show that briefly, but basically you can manage reports. It's a one place to go for managing who has access to those as well. But the reporting on the go is a huge need for this day and age with so many people traveling. So you can run reports in the web. It does still query the live database. So whether it's a cell phone, tablet, laptop, you can still have access to your data even if you're not local. So that's a huge win. One-click drill down, so drilling into the transactional information behind each number is going to be with Jet Professional. Ease of use, the reason I put that on there has a lot to do with the bullet below it. It's just flexibility, drag and drop reporting. You're not limited to pivot tables with non-financial reporting, as well as you can add in custom calculations within the table builder itself. So we have a ton of case studies coming out with very, very successful folks who use GP, were on a management report or FRX, went to Jet Express first, have landed on Jet Professional, and are ecstatic. Jet Enterprise is going to be our full BI and reporting solution. And really what this is a it's a very dynamic product because it's going to give you a data warehouse. You're going to get a set of pre-built cubes. We have our own data visualization tool, but it does work in conjunction with Power BI very well. So I know that's a hot topic, and if you want more information on that, myself or Jim is going to be a good point of contact, as well as multi-currency comes up a lot. It's going to be the easiest way to report on those that information, as well as the dashboarding. I know a lot of people are interested in dashboards. We can actually help with the design of them because some folks want it, but they don't know what they want on it. As well as custom KPIs. Gross profit is a great example of that. So now that one version of the truth is a reality. You don't have to guess if someone's calculating these numbers the same. They're pre-built, they're built into the project, which is actually a 2-hour install, which is unheard of in BI, as well as the budgeting tools on the horizon. So anybody with budgeting challenges or is looking for something to help with budgeting, we just hired a whole team to develop that tool. And there's a few reasons behind why it's not out yet. The main one being we're all over the world. It can't just be in English. But we're more than open to any feedback you have on your challenges or what you'd like that to look like. So that's Jet Enterprise. Really exciting stuff on the horizon for that. But I will make sure to make myself available for questions afterwards, as well as the slide deck and probably that PDF as well to make it easy for folks to understand. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Jim, and if there's any additional questions, I'll make sure to chime in as needed. But thanks for having me.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate your presentation. It was very informative. And anyone, again, as Mike mentioned, if you have any questions or you have a follow-up, you have Michael's email on the screen, and I know everyone knows how to get in touch with me. So if there's no other questions, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time and joining us. Michael, thanks for your presentation. Everyone have a great day.